All right, we're back with part 2 of our Intro to JS or JavaScript series. So let's just hop right back into it. I don't want to waste any of your time. So we're going to start with our environment, and it's a simulated virtual environment that you can get to from your cell phone, from your computer, from whatever device that you have that has a browser and access to the internet for the most part. All right, so we're going to start with Code Sandbox, just like in the previous video. So go ahead and type Code Sandbox into your browser URL, and it should be the one that says codesandbox.io. We're going to click, and then here we're going to sign in. Now, if you do not have a username and password already set up or an account already created, go ahead and click sign in or try for free. Okay, and we're going to be using the option to sign in with GitHub. So if you don't have a GitHub account, then please go to www.github.com and you're going to select the first option that appears and then sign up. If you've created a GitHub account, go back to your Code Sandbox tab, and then you're going to click sign in with GitHub. Make sure you put your username and password, sign in. And here we are. We're inside of Code Sandbox. So you should already at this point have a Code Sandbox environment for Node.js already started. So I'm going to go to all my sandboxes. Or better yet, I'm going to click on all my drafts. I'm sorry. And I'm going to select the one that we started on previously, Intro to JS. All right. And this is where we left off. Last time we talked about how to use the method, the built-in method to JavaScript called console.log, so that we can print or send some text to our terminal. Now we're going to talk about some of the things on our word wall in this part of our Intro to JS. So right below, we're going to press enter. We're going to go to the next line, and then we're going to create a title. Intro to JS part 2. Thing we're going to talk about is what is Node.js. Review previously, I stated that these two forward slashes will allow you to write comments, and comments, anything typed following the two forward slashes, at least two forward slashes, will not be read or recognized by the computer. The computer will skip over it. So these comments are to help you to plan your coding, to make notes to yourself, so that you understand what it is you're doing. But right now we're going to just use them to learn about concepts. And the first concept is, what is Node.js? So now I'm going to do a multi-line comment simply by typing a forward slash with two asterisks, and you can find the asterisks above the number 8. And then once I come here and I press enter, it gives me multiple lines to make comments. It's just a faster way to do things. Okay, so now let's just jump into it. So simply, without Node.js, it would be very difficult to tell our computer to execute the following instruction using JavaScript. And I may copy and paste some things, but I'm showing you that you know how simple it is to use this coding editor. You just get in and you just start playing around. So let's type some code. Console.log is the method that we've seen from the previous episode, and inside of this method, inside of the parentheses, I'm going to tell the computer to evaluate something. And what I've done is I've put in an arithmetic expression. So simply I am inside of parentheses putting expression of 1 plus 1. Okay. Now the expected output is going to be the number 2 because that's what 1 plus 1 equals. So after we run our program, Node.js in the background will print the result of this expression, or it'll display the answer. So let's come to our terminal here, and you will notice that you see the output. Now we have a lot of things running in the background here in this terminal. So let's start a new terminal, start fresh. A lot of times people kind of get overwhelmed with all the previous texts and going ons in the terminal, but we don't want to worry about that. So we're going to select this plus sign at the right, create a new space, and we're going to select new terminal. Now we have a clean terminal without all the extra stuff. So we want to run this program to express the changes that we've made. So in order to see the results of the changes that we've made, we have to give a command to our computer using the terminal. So the command is node because node is what we use to execute JavaScript code. So we're going to type node first, and then beside that, we're going to tell node which JavaScript file to run. And it's index.js because that's what we're doing our work in. We're doing our work in the file called index.js. So I have the command and I have the file I want to run, and now I'm just going to press enter. And you'll see two things. You'll see our previous code. I'll see you next time. And that text is here displayed in the console, as well as the result to the expression 1 plus 1, which is 2. We only want to see what we're doing in this lesson. This is from the previous lesson. And remember, anytime that you add a comment, the computer will skip over that. So we're going to go to our previous code that we wrote that is not in gray or that is not commented out, and we're going to add forward slashes to comment out. Now, let's see what happens in our terminal. Another command that you want to be familiar with in the terminal is clear. So I'm going to type clear in the terminal, and once I press enter, everything that was in the terminal previously goes away. So that's going to be good practice so that you don't get bogged down with so much text in the terminal. Now I'm going to type the command again, node, and the file that I want node to run is index.js. Pressing enter, and we see now the only thing that is displayed in the terminal is the result to this code that we wrote in our editor, and not the previous thing that we wrote. All right, so I'm just showing you how the computer handles these comments. It skipped over this and came all the way down to the next line that had recognizable JavaScript code and executed it here. And that was made possible using this program called Node. Node did all the stuff in the background to make it easy for us to display this piece of code or the results of this piece of code in our terminal. Now, you could do this on your own, but you'd have to handle a lot of things in the background. Memory, you'd have to work with lower level programming languages. You might have to work with some bytecodes or conversion to binary. We don't have to deal with any of that because Node handles it. So now I'm just going to paste some text that I already had pre-wrote just so that you can have some notes. So if you look to the right or to the bottom, depending on your device, you'll see the output or the result of our instructions. And our instructions are in the form of JavaScript code. All right, so we've made it to the end of our second part of coding now. So let's leave with a little bit of homework. Remember, you want to practice a little bit each day and give yourself a challenge to complete so that you can keep your skills sharp. So let's talk about our homework. Oops, wrong symbol. All right, so let's play around with different arithmetic expressions. So for example, I could put 1 plus 2 inside of this method console.log. And then when I run the program in the terminal, I see the result of this set of instructions, and I also see the result of the following set of instructions. So for your homework, write expressions that write at least 2 expressions arithmetic expressions that will output the number, output or evaluate, because that's what happens when you put in an expression. It's evaluated and gives you the output to the number 4. All right, that is your challenge, and I will see you next time.